So feel free to raise your hand, comment, like, share if you can relate to having those moments where you just sit there and go, wow, I have arrived at a moment, a phase in my life that I've imagined myself embodying and I'm living that now. It can be a never ending journey depending on a whole bunch of things, a whole bunch of factors. But the focus of my post and in this moment is that I was thinking, wow, how did I spend my day today? I was able to sleep in and nourish my body and gently, slowly wake up with my dog, who is a snuggle bug, and be warm and cozy and create safety in my body, which is like, wow, I was able to wake up and smile and tell myself that, okay, you're facing the day creating safety for yourself, feeling safe and trusting in source. Like, this is super awesome. And then I go into the rest of my day where I am mixing potions, which are my healing medicines in powdered form of collagen and vitamin C and all sorts of things to help heal my joints and my gut so that I can embody more of my presence and my purpose in this lifetime without having a depleted meat suit. And so I'm, healing from nonsense and foolishness, mixing my potions, all witchy like, with intentions as I sit down to study astrology and the lunar wheel, like the lunar cycle and the witch's wheel, with my friends who are also my teachers and my mentors, B.A. Nathaniel and Fen, B.A. Nathaniel Thomas and Fen Renee. And I'm tagging them because they're awesome and this class is awesome. It's just a phase. It's so much more than just a phase. It's everything, but it really is just a phase, and that makes it so much more manageable. And with it being my second cohort, today was so tender and juicy insofar as it's the second meeting of this fourth cohort, my second participation, and I participated in cohort 3, which, thank you for the barter exchange. Love you, appreciate you both. And so we're learning uh, so much, so much about the intricacies of astrology and how we can relate to it personally, applying things to our charts and learning aspects about literally the aspects, modes, degrees, and things that I had wanted to learn for decades. And I'm finally getting a chance to do that with trusted people who I can share the reflections of how I'm seeing it mirrored in my life in raw and vulnerable ways because I'm genuinely safe in their confidence with, this really awesome network of people that have become consistent presences in my life. And so it was just like, wow, like all of this is so magical. This is what profound alchemy can look like externally after doing so much inward work to be someone who could be present and mindful and attentive and healthfully boundaried in relation with community. Whether or not I become friends with someone, whether or not we become anything more than acquaintances. And I know that I share a lot of vulnerable aspects of myself with the general public, so that can sound a lot like a dichotomy or a paradox, and it is. I'm an embodiment of paradoxes and polarities and contradictions, and that's just who I am. So, if you don't like it, no one's forcing you to be here with me personally. So, yeah, I was enjoying that this is the what I've cultivated in my life. And after being in that awesome writing container, because it is, at the end of the day, it's just a phase as a writing container as well, where we do generative work in our synchronous sessions as well as asynchronously along the transit of the lunar cycle. And so I was already in the mood to continue writing and acting in alignment the way that the prompts are helping us to shape and frame our context of how we are embodying and existing in this living moment. And so I was able to take my focus and pivot to getting to review one of my friends and mentors and teachers who is so inspiring as a facilitator, Soul Bloom. Flow is amazing. All of the leadership of the Soft Power, the Church of Soft Power, is amazing. And I really recently had the pleasure of being a part of Soul Liberation. Flow hosted this 2-hour ceremony of ritual and medicine that was absolutely engaging, embodying, alchemizing, inspiring. I literally felt my ancestors. I was channeling emotion and wisdom, and it was something that can be really hard to put into words. And so I'm going to be continuing to unpack that experience because so much beautiful and meaningful activation happened in that ceremony, in that ritual, which is fully what I expected. That's the vibe in flow spaces is, I mean, you get out of it what you put into it, and flow creates such an intentional space that if you put intention and care and energy into your presence in these containers, you will receive the alchemy and the transformation that you're lining up with and aligning with. And it's so worth it to check out Flow's offerings. And I'm just thinking about this, like I'm getting to live the life that I've always dreamed of finally, and it's so nourishing, and it's becoming more so on a regular basis, and I'm just so grateful for that. I'm so grateful that even as there are things that I'm still working through, things that I have been letting go, changes that I'm still leaning into and feeling into, that like I was saying with Siobhan the other day, it's so lovely that we can have these rough experiences, and we don't have to wait until the rough experiences are over to be able to appreciate and laugh through the good stuff that we can be present with. That is the joy in revolution, is not that you are using it as a tool of avoidance and as a tool that reinforces empire and imperialism, but as a way of co-creating community with people, with your resonant folks. And there's so many ways to do it. This is just how I am living that embodiment right now, and it's going to transform as I continue to shift and transform. But it's something that is important to not talk about as a, oh, look at me, what I'm doing, like in terms of like I'm cool and you should do what I'm doing. But like, this is an example of one way we can be doing the work, is doing barter and service exchanges with our friends, with our trusted folks in our communities, building relationships, building you know ed- knowledge shares and systems that will support us in the way that our ancestors have been doing for generations. And like, none of this is new. Even though it can feel new to some folks because it's not inside your context of experience so far, but it's been happening, it is happening, and it's going to keep happening. So that's when I'm talking about like finding your lane or lanes and being present in them. Like all of us in these, all the people that I'm talking about who I'm learning from or learning with are folks who are doing so through decolonial frameworks that help subvert the tools that have been used to distract us or to disempower us, and reclaiming those tools for what they were originally intended for in our sovereignty and our agency and liberation. So, like, check out their offerings. And, I was just, there's so many people that I want to talk about, and I could, but I don't want to ramble for as long as I could, and I would just end up losing track anyway. So I'm going to tag a whole bunch of folks, and there will also be the transcript for you to reread, and I'll add the tags there so that you can connect with these other folks and like see what I'm talking about. If any of this resonates with you and you feel like you want to understand better, how do I lean into living that radical joy in a decolonial way that doesn't serve empire? How do we do joy responsibly and ethically, and from a communally responsible perspective? That's what we're trying to have conversations around. So yeah, and if you have questions, that helps me guide my conversations and my things. So comments, DMs,